Good morning and welcome to another week of A Day in the Life of me, Johann Goree. So in this week's episode, we've got a week in the office at home, thankfully. Still a bit tired after the last 2 weeks of travel, really. But yeah, we are back to filming on the iPhone. I decided, having looked at all the footage I filmed on the Instago 360 on top of my tripod, that the face camera bit where I'm stood still in the office didn't look great. I wasn't happy with that. So we're going to go back to filming on the iPhone. But what we have got is a upgraded sound system this week as well. So I've gone to the DJI wireless mics. We're having some issues with the Rode Go Wireless 2 connectivity. The iPhones just don't like them a huge amount. And the way they connect with a cable and stuff meant the camera was off balance, and it was just a bit of a headache, whereas this is much more of a plug and go. So yeah, hopefully you're going to have a far better audio experience. I'm still loving my Insta360 Go 3. It's an absolutely fantastic camera, especially for all that B-roll of and point of view stuff where, I just take that camera out, I stick it onto me, and I just go around and do what I need to do. It just wasn't great for this kind of shot where it's me talking to the camera. I looked too far away, the sound wasn't great, etc. So, week 3, lessons still being learnt. So it's Monday morning, and I'll be momentarily logging into StreamYard, which is the software we use to stream Ask the Accountant. I'll be joining Mr. Aaron Patrick, who will be joining me today to talk all things tech, review Accountex North, and all of that good stuff in this morning's podcast, which will already be 2 weeks old by the time you guys get to hear me talk about this. But interesting inside fact for you. When we do Ask the Accountant podcast each week, we take it in turns as to who hosts, and the host is the person that's always on the left-hand side of your screen. This week, it's my turn. So, yeah, let's crack on and see what happens. Okay, so I've done my podcast this morning. I jumped on my team meeting this morning quickly to have a chat with everyone, see how everyone's weekends was. And then I was meant to have a 10 o'clock demo for Client Engager, but we are currently at 12 minutes past 10 and they've not shown up. So I will close that meeting down. It's really frustrating for a small software company when people are booking demos and they don't turn up. A, it's a waste of our time. B, it's just blocking others who do want demos. We've only got so many resources. So yeah, if you guys are booking demos with any software provider, and if you can't make it, it's not an issue. Just have the decency to go into your calendar and delete it, or drop us an email so we can delete it. Yeah, there's nothing worse than being told, them sitting here waiting for 15 minutes for someone to turn up and they don't turn up. But hey ho, that's just one of the small challenges in the world of software. So I'm now going to take advantage of this extra 45 minutes I've got in my day compared to what I was expecting. And I'm going to jump on to chat with a couple of my teammates about a few different things that I need to talk to them about. That is going to be followed up by a client meeting at 11 o'clock. So yeah, frustrating start to the day when someone doesn't turn up for your 10 o'clock demo, but hey ho, we'll move on. Okay, so I'm always looking for different ways of being more efficient in my work. And one of the headaches I've had for the last week was I wanted to try and make my face to camera and my B-roll and stuff a bit more stationary and a bit more steady, because as you can tell, I'm on my gimbal right now. So I was looking at ways I could make that easier, so I can just go, that's the same position every time. I know the shot's going to be good. So what I did was I got my tripod out and I put it up, so it's permanently up now, as you can see. And then I put my little Go 3, my Insta360 Go 3 on it. So the lighting's not great for this, but hey ho. So then I was like, right, I'm going to put my gimbal on top of this. So I was taking my gimbal on and off. You have to screw these things on and off all the time. But what I've just realised is actually, I knew I could do this, but I'd forgotten I got a spare. So actually I can take this whole thing off now. So I can take that all off. So that sits there. Ignore the squint angle. So that sits there like that. And I've put another one of these little square mounts on the bottom of my gimbal. So now I can just plug and go onto here. So I can now plug and go onto there. So as ludicrously as that sounds, that, oh, I've just put that little square bracket on something, that means I don't have to unscrew the mount every time I want to change cameras. So it's going to save me 30 seconds ago. And if I'm swapping in between these cameras all the time, it's going to save me loads of time. So yeah, really pleased with that little brainwave moment. So that brainwave has probably saved me, you know, what, 3 minutes a day, every day at least. So yeah, always looking for those little wins. That's how I nail this whole efficiency thing. Okay, so it's 2:30. Really productive afternoon and late morning with a client meeting. Really happy with the new management reports we're issuing, which is great. So we're doing that project where we're focusing on 5 KPIs per business, or a bit more if they want, but we're trying to make them focus more on what they're measuring themselves against, and that's going really well. Then it's been a few team meetings, like team member meetings, where we've been going through and getting their reports ready for their new clients that are getting new report styles. And then I did a 2 o'clock demo for Client Engager, which was fantastic. Potential new user moving away from a competitor and just wanted to make sure they understood how everything worked, which is always nice to do. So I now need to grab my bag and I'm heading out to meet a new client or potential new client. They build various types of different outhouses and stuff, so and outbuildings. So we're going to see them, see how we can help. They're a year into their business, so yeah, go see what their first year's been like and how that's gone, and then we'll go from there. Okay, right, well, it's the end of Monday. Bit of a frustrating afternoon, all in all. The person I was going to go and see as a potential new client was unavailable all of a sudden due to one of his clients letting him down. So that got postponed. Now, the benefit of that is I did get a bit of work done with some team members, a bit of planning and organising. We're trying to structure our pod system better. And we're trying to find out the profitability of each pod as well. So what I mean by pod is I've got team members, so I've got a client manager, and then each pod has a batch of clients that client manager looks after. And then depending on the skill set, depends on whether a pod gets a half a person or a whole person or a part of a person for various service offerings. So for example, we've got a couple of payroll people that are divided amongst all the pods. We've got, most pods have 2 finance controllers. Sorry, a finance controller over 2 pods. So a finance controller is our terminology for a bookkeeper. So we have one bookkeeper generally looks after clients from 2 different pods, because there's a bit of a split of, in each pod there'll be some clients that don't have bookkeeping, just accounts, some clients just have payroll, some clients have a variety of services. So each pod has a bookkeeper, each pod has a payroll person, but again, payroll person is normally split over 4 or 5 pods. Each person has a credit controller, again split over a number of pods, depending on the services that are being offered by that pod. So what we're trying to work out at the moment is how much it costs to run each pod and how profitable each pod is, and that will also help us attribute where the new clients go to. So for example, in my pod, I have very little time to spend on client work these days. So the client work I generally have is very high end and high paying, so I have a very profitable pod. Other pods aren't quite as profitable, and that's where we need to focus on getting some of my clients that I don't necessarily need to work with on a day-to-day basis can go into those pods, and any new clients could go into those pods as well, just to try and level out the playing field a bit and give everyone a better chance of getting their work done, better even workloads, and make sure each client pod is profitable, basically. Now, we don't measure a pod on, well, we do measure it on the number of clients each pod has, but that's not the objective of the pod. We don't have a limit as to how many clients each pod can have. We look at the turnover per pod, because that's a better representation. because if you've got a pod of 200 clients who only just have self-assessment tax return each year, well, that's quite feasible to deliver. Whereas if you've got a pod of 5 clients that need day in, day out bookkeeping, credit control, payroll, etc., then that's going to take a lot more resources, but those clients pay considerably more for all those services than a self-assessment tax return client would ever do. So we try and have a bit of a spread of all of the types of clients in our pods. Some pods are specific to a certain industry because that's the client manager's niche. Other pods are quite generic because that's what the client manager prefers, is a generic pod. So I've been doing a bit of a project on a spreadsheet today with one of our client managers, Jade, who's also our operations manager. So Jade and I spend most of our time managing the businesses. So Jade and I had a couple of hours to spend on that and how we fairly distribute the costs of things like management and stuff like that. Those wages need to be split across all the pods. So we think we've made some really positive steps in that today. I'm really quite pleased with the results and how it all looks and how fair it seems to be. Got that done. Had a catch-up meeting with Vicky, my head of accounts, after that, just to make sure everything's in hand, which it always is with Vicky. There's normally a few loose ends she needs answers for, and I can give them to her, or I can get the right client manager to get those answers for her. Bit of a frustrating day all in all, having had a client Engager demo cancel on us this morning. Well, not cancel, not show up. And then a demo at my prospective client today cancelling, but to be fair, they've rescheduled. We'll go ahead with that tomorrow afternoon and see how that goes. The highs and lows of a business owner in accounting and bookkeeping world is, no shows for meetings. And what can you do? You can only remind them so many times, and you can only do so much about no-shows before, if you start charging like no-show penalties and stuff, people soon get put off by that, and you just lose the client rather than do anything, rather than train them, I think. So productive day from the point of view of getting my pod structure a bit more refined and how we're going to split the costs out for measuring profitability and stuff on that. Had a really good few calls with some of our client managers about our setting up practice management reports for their clients, which went very well. Caught up with Vicky for heads of accounts. Did my podcast first thing this morning. So a busy and productive day, even though it's frustrating at points with no-shows and stuff. So tomorrow is client meetings, team meetings, prospective client meetings as well. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. But for now, I'm going to go and put some dinner in the oven and come back and make sure this is all tidied up, ready for tomorrow. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock-ish on Tuesday morning. So my first meeting on a Tuesday at about 9 o'clock is always a client Engager team meeting. So myself, Andy and Peter get together. We look at the feedback that's been coming in over the last week. We work out if there's any quick wins we can release, quick updates for. We work out what we've got planned for the week ahead, and basically just catch up with where each of us are with progress. So Andy's busy working on our website and marketing stuff and putting together the vision for the brand, as it were, there. Peter, as always, is busy working on developments. He actually emailed me last night about 11 o'clock with a video from Loom telling me all the different updates that are rolling out in the coming few days. So I now need to update our members of our community group there and see if there's anything major enough to warrant email marketing about it or pushing across multiple social media platforms. We'll also get an update on what else Peter's working on. So at the moment, I know he's working on the Xero integration and the Gmail integration. They're both going to be released at the same time due to their importance. So he's working on both simultaneously. Going to be another good meeting. See how we get in on Client Engager. We had a real spike of interest over the weekend. My understanding is some of our competitors have been reviewing their prices recently. and QuickBooks announced practice management tool, which I think a few people have been hanging on for since March. Now the pricing's publicly available and the functionality is publicly available. They're now looking at it and wondering what else is on the market. So yeah, we got a surge in demand late last week and over the weekend. So we'll be discussing that a bit more as well in depth. And is there anything else we need to do about that? And go from there. Once I've done that meeting, I'm going to be having my client managers meeting. So every Tuesday at 11 o'clock, we have a client managers meeting. And the client managers meeting is either a general catch-up, going through client bases as client managers, or every other week it's a training session. And today we're going to be doing a training session on culture and our values, just as a reminder. It's one of those things you cover in everyone's induction and you cover it when you launch it, but a lot of firms then don't ever talk about it again. Now we're quite lucky. It's on our homepage for Client Engager, all 6 core values. But I'll be going into more depth, explaining what that means, reminding the team of our core values, our vision, our mission, and making sure that everyone's on board with that, basically. Then after that, it's client meetings, and I need to get some work done. So yeah, it should be another busy day. Okay, so really good meeting with Client Engager team today. We've just about to launch a whole new feature of updates, little tweaks, user improvements really. And there's really good progress on the Xero and the Gmail integration, which is exciting to get those out of the way and done. And we've started discussing what's next. So we're going to get the roadmap ready. We've got to start scoping out how long projects are going to take us between now and Christmas, so that we can then inform our users of what to expect between now and Christmas. But it looks like we're going to be doing a lot of work on things like time tracking and capacity planning and budgeting and profitability, which is really exciting. And basically it's the next step for our practice management tool to be able to give those powerful insights and start utilizing all the data we're capturing for our users to be able to improve their efficiency and stuff. I was meant to be on a 10 o'clock demo, but unfortunately that demo is not turned up for Client Engager today either. 2 days in a row my 10 o'clock's not turned up, which is a bit disappointing, but that's life. The benefit is it's given me time to crack on and catch up with my team before the team meeting at 11 o'clock. So I'm going to go and make some Teams calls and catch up with the team. So our communication tool of choice for internal communication is Teams. So we use that for our meetings with our clients. We use it for our meetings internally for web calls and stuff. We use the audio calling. We've got internal team chats. We've got internal one-to-one messaging and stuff. So everyone pretty much lives and breathes Teams at the OnPoint accounting group. So I'm going to go and have some team calls with my team and see what the rest of the day brings. Okay, that's me on the way back from my prospective client meeting. Interesting guy, really nice little business, just starting out. Kind of the stuff I used to get, this is the stuff I still get excited for, and I still love being part of this early part of the journey. And it's the reason I got into setting up my own firm. I have to say I don't deal with it as much as I'd probably like to sometimes anymore because of the other roles I have, but it's an exciting part of the journey to join someone and to help advise and steer them in the right direction. So yeah, it's always nice to have those first meetings. He had an interesting story to tell. So he went to one accountant, they took £800 off him and then disappeared off the face of the earth. Then he went to another accounting firm just down the road from us. She charged him £150 for the privilege of a first meeting, which, yeah, new accounting and bookkeeping firms however you like, but don't get upset. Just realising how poor the light is here because the sun's setting and I'm going in the wrong direction. Lizzie's going to be very upset with me about the quality of the lighting in this shot. But She then quoted him some silly money, like 3 or 4 times what we were going to quote him, a month to do everything. So he came to us, was very happy with our initial consultation and the fact that we don't charge for advice and support like that, which has always been a bedrock of what we do. We don't charge for the privilege of talking to us. We don't charge for the privilege of having a quote put together for you. As he said, he's in the construction trade. He can't charge for the privilege of quotes. Why can we? So yeah, we've sent him a quote and he's already accepted within seconds. So whilst I was in the coffee shop with the client, potential client, now client, I drew up a quote using Client Engager's pricing tool, and I emailed it over to him to have a look at when he got home, and he's already signed up, which is great news. And another client signed up as well while I was out of the office at that meeting. So benefits of using Client Engager practice management tool and the pricing tool is that quotes are knocking out quick and easily and accurately, and clients are signing up whilst I'm not even looking, which is always a bonus. But yeah, got some things to do for that client, the new client that's just signed up. Mainly I need to research what on earth this accountant was talking about with his pet dog, which has no relevance to his trade whatsoever, but apparently it's tax claimable, so I need to look at what she's looking at there. But we'll go from there. So I'm going to head home and go and get some dinner. Okay, so that's 20 to 6. I'm about to sign off. My final job every day is a summary video for you wonderful people and to upload it all for producer Lizzie to crack on with. Got back from that prospective client meeting, get my words out, and did a bit of research. I spoke to Vicky, our head of accounts. She wasn't convinced that the advice that this prospective client was given by another accountant local to us down the road was 100% legal. So we have done a bit of research online and Googled it, and it's very, very murky as to the colour of the water that we're walking in there. But yeah, not convinced. But then I thought, oh, I know what we'll do. We'll check Todd. So Tax on Demand, it's a new AI chatbot that got released literally today from the Todd team, Tax on Demand. And basically it's like ChatGPT for accountants and bookkeepers. And it's totally free to use at this moment in time because they're still gathering feedback and generating responses and stuff. So I put my question into that. And basically Todd is ChatGPT in effect. It's the same concept as it. It's not powered by it, is my understanding, but it's the same concept. And the team behind Todd have fed into this AI tool all 63,000 plus pages of guidance and notes from HMRC. So it's referring back to all its own guidance, which is great. So I just put into here my question, and it's come back saying basically no, you can't claim that. That's not an allowable thing. But what's also quite cool is we've gone into there, like we had a client ask us today, ask one of my team members who's not a payroll person, what happens if a team member who's on maternity leave doesn't want to come back? So we asked the system Todd today about that, and Todd came back within seconds saying, right, needs to give you 8 weeks notice. They're still entitled to all of their statutory benefits, etc., for holiday allowance, etc., to be paid out, even if they don't come back. And here's a link to the guidance, which was fantastic because normally that team member would have to go and ask our payroll team, who are all very busy at the moment because it's the last couple of days of the month. So the payroll team's all mental doing all their payrolls. So no one from payroll was really available to get back to him straight away, and the client needed to know. So the fact that he was fairly sure he knew the answer, managed to go on to Todd and ask the question and get the links to the guidance, which gave him reassurance that Todd had interpreted the information correctly, meant he was able to go back to the client, explain the answer, give him a link to some reference notes so that they were convinced of it, and reassured of it, that it was properly researched, without it hassling a very busy payroll department. So we were really pleased with that. I'm really enjoying using Todd already. So stick with us and I will let you know what other use cases we have for Todd. But yeah, very, very clever bit of kit. Very early days. It's only 34 days old. It only went live to the public today. But very clever bit of kit. I can see it becoming very useful. And I know this isn't the only thing they're working on. I know they're trying to build out the ability to assess tax returns, both corporation and personal, to assess for potential tax savings and missed opportunities, because the tax law is just so big that you really need an AI tool and an algorithm to help you assess that. So yeah, very, very powerful, very interesting software. I don't know what it's going to cost in the long run. It's free for now. We'll trial it for as long as it's free. And if we're getting enough value for it in representation for the price, then great, we'll use it. But yeah, so if you've not tried it, have a look at Todd, T-O-D, and let me just, yeah, it's TOD.tax is the domain, and the tool that you're looking for is the Copilot. So it's Copilot Tax, copilot.todd.tax, and it's a free account you can create. Now, they will charge you at some point, but they're going to tell you what the costs are before they charge you, so you can back out if you want to. But I've already played with it. One of my client managers has had a go with it today, asking that genuine question that came in. And our head of accounts is now playing with it as well. So absolutely brilliant tool, already getting value for money out of it because it's free. So yeah, been a good day. New clients just signed up while I was out at that prospective client meeting as well. So I need to crack on with the onboarding there. Client Engager makes the onboarding so much quicker and easier. I've just got a series of workflows now to click go, and we're done. We publish a form for the onboarding and stuff. So easy. So yeah, looking forward to getting that all sorted tomorrow morning. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me today. Tomorrow we've got various meetings. I've got a meeting with 3 of my team members that are testing a new bit of software called Linebooks. Watch this space. Very interesting concept, Linebooks. Might well revolutionize the way we work with some of our clients who aren't interested in access to their books and stuff all day, every day, like QuickBooks and Xero give them. But still makes it very efficient versus using a spreadsheet. And I think actually if I tie Client Engager into Linebooks along with Armalytics for bank statement fetching and those CSV files that Armalytics gives us, I think we've got a right powerhouse of a tool there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to testing that stack further. We've got some really exciting kind of insights from it already today. And I suppose that's another thing with this firm is we're constantly trialing new tools. And we've got team members that were a bit dubious of the fact that we constantly trial new tools, but they're really getting into it now. They're part of that testing, trialing and stage that they're really embracing it. So yeah, great day for trialing new tools. Linebooks looking very good. Todd, very impressive. So yeah, watch this space and I'll see you all tomorrow. Good morning and welcome to Wednesday. Today, in fact, I don't even really know what I'm doing today. I know what I want to do. Let's have a look at the diary. So today I've got one of my team meetings at 9:15. Then we've got a client demo. Oh no, it's a training session actually, so that'd be good for Client Engager. So one of the things we offer at Client Engager is the ability, if you've got a team and you've had your demo and you've set up Client Engager and you're using it, then what we can do is we can jump onto a Zoom call with your whole team, do a bit of a training session, focusing on those areas that you're struggling with and you've got questions about, which is always a good fun session. I've then got a series of client meetings throughout the midday period, and then a client demo this afternoon. And then I've got a meeting at 3 o'clock with Tax on Demand. So Tax on Demand are the chatbot tool that I was telling you about last night. I'm really enjoying playing with it. I was playing with it a bit more last night while I was watching TV. Just trying to work out what it can and can't do. So for example, it can't give me a self-assessment tax return questionnaire like ChatGPT has done in the past. But it has given me a template for a letter to appeal a penalty from HMRC. It can't give me the more standard like marketing LinkedIn stuff, which ChatGPT can, but it can answer my technical questions relatively well. So I'm really enjoying using that, and we're going to roll it out today to the whole client manager team, so that they've all got an account and they can all ask it questions and they can come back to me and feedback on how we're getting on with it. On top of that, we're also testing and trialing Linebooks, which is, it's like, basically it's a tool that takes your bank statements. So client walks into your office once a year or once every 3 months or so with a pile of bank statements. That's all they're giving you, okay? So you're thinking cash accounting, etc. You can take photos of the PDFs, upload them into Linebooks. It then processes them, turns that into transactions, and you have to allocate a couple of transactions. Then it automatically allocates everything else for you. So it looks like it's going to be a really good way to streamline those kind of clients, which is good, because those kind of clients are not interested in Xero or QuickBooks. All they want to have done is their accounts accurately, their books accurately, and quickly and cheaply. So this seems like a really good option. It's a pay-as-you-go thing. So you just pay for the number of transactions you're putting through. I think it works out about 5p a transaction, which is not unfair. So yeah, we're going to give that a try. So the trial we're doing is a team member yesterday did 15 months worth of bank bookkeeping for a client using bank statement PDFs. It took her about 40 minutes to do it on a spreadsheet. The test has then been to go into Linebooks without any guidance, create a client in Linebooks, upload the PDFs, let them process, and then process the transactions. Now, it's very deliberate why we've done it that way. We want to see how easy and intuitive it is for someone that's never seen it before. So the team member went in, created a new client inside of a minute or two. She's very complimentary about how intuitive it was. She's uploaded all the bank statements. Now, there was a bit of trimming we had to do, which was a bit frustrating and slowed us down a bit. But we think we've come around with a solution to this problem in that, and also the processing of those PDFs is taking forever. Like, it's a really slow process. But looking at it, you can also upload CSV files, and they process pretty much instantly. So what we're thinking of doing is the client that dumps paperwork on our desk, our current preferred solution is they use Analytics. Analytics gives us a PDF, but it also gives us a CSV file for that period of time. We can then take that CSV file, upload it into Linebooks. It categorizes everything at 5p a transaction for us, and it spits out a trial balance, reports, etc. that we need. So our hope is that we'll be able to use that process of Analytics into Linebooks into our accounts production software, which is TaxCalc, to just have that nice seamless process. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm hopeful, basically, that it's going to reduce our software operating costs. I'm hoping it's going to make these annual clients more efficient for us. And we're able to turn accounts around in a faster turnaround time, which means we're improving the service we're offering our clients, because at the moment it can take a bit of time and they can get a bit backlogged. So yeah, that's the plan for today. A couple of demos, a bit of training, client manager meetings, client meetings, and continue the trials of these two new fantastic bits of software and how we're going to build them into our workflow. So join me as I stay in the office all day, but crack on with all this new exciting stuff. Okay, so it's 4 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. I had a couple of client Engager demo training sessions today, which were really nice. Very short, actually, quite quick and easy. But I just had a really, really good call and meeting with Nick Stobbs from Todd, Tax on Demand. Their main product is going to be abstracting, absorbing, analysing tax returns for and annual accounts and giving advice to accountants. So it basically acts like a senior tax advisor, and it'll go, have you considered X, Y, and Z, which might be viable for this client, which is quite cool. But in the meantime, they've also launched a co-pilot, which I think I spoke about yesterday. And I was playing around with it yesterday and last night, really enjoyed using it. Had a really good call with Nick this afternoon about potentials of that tool linking into practice management softwares, linking into and having like a database built for our own firm. So Todd would know about our firm and that information would be ring fenced to our firm. So Todd would know our core values, it would know how we work, our work processes, our workflows, and basically it would be able to answer questions that I keep getting asked, or Jade, my operations manager, gets asked. So like, oh, I've got a client who needs a pension, who do we recommend? Todd would know. So yeah, it's a very cool idea. I'm very interested in it. I've always enjoyed playing with ChatGPT, and there'll still be a place for ChatGPT. Todd is very much a tax specialist at this moment in time, so it's no good at telling me create a social media content calendar or, you know, write an email about X, Y, or Z. It's just no good at that, and that's fine. That's what ChatGPT is going to be there for. But Todd has got some very exciting ideas behind it, and I'm looking forward to working with that more, definitely. We didn't follow up on line books today. That's for tomorrow. The team member that was working on it yesterday was off today, but back tomorrow to crack on. So that'll be exciting to see how we get on with line books tomorrow. But the team are very enthusiastic about line books, and they've all come up with use cases and examples and clients that you could use it on. So that's always positive when the team are enthusiastic about a new software. That's always really positive, because it means they're open and adaptable to the change. If they're resilient from day one and they aren't getting involved in the process and stuff, then you know the change is going to be a bit more painful. But for them to be embracing it so early on is always a good sign for me. So I'm going to lock down the computer and go and grab some bits from the shop, because it's a late finish for me tonight. Every Wednesday when I'm not out conferencing and doing QuickBooks stuff and everything, I do a 7:30 live Facebook group session with our Client Engager Facebook group. There's about 500 people in that group now, and I go live to that group. I talk them through what's coming up in new updates, what's been released recently, or I deep dive into a topic or conversation that's been happening in the group and try and answer some questions on that. And so that's the first 15-20 minutes, and then I basically do a live Q&A session where I go through and answer anyone's questions while they're there. So yeah, the community really values it, they really enjoy it, and I get lots of questions. We get a good turnout every week, which tells me it's needed and wanted, which is the important part. So yeah, I'll be doing that 7:30 till 8:30 tonight, so I need to go and get some dinner and stuff inside me before that, otherwise it'll be too late. And I also will then need to watch and approve last week's A Day in the Life video, which goes live on Friday. So yeah, a couple more things to do for the day, but nearly done. And it's not been a bad day, been quite productive. I've also got done a couple of sales, and we've also done a load of fee reviews and got the client managers contacting their clients and explaining why the prices are changing and stuff and what's going on. So we do a fee review for our clients at the end of every financial year of theirs, and we base it on growth, turnover, volume of sales, transactions, stuff like that, plus a bit of an inflationary rise if inflation has been bad like it has been for the last couple of years. So yeah, so done half a dozen fee reviews and passed them on to the client managers to review and go forwards with as well. So very, very productive day as always. But yeah, I will be back in here in a couple of hours to do my live session with the Client Engager gang on the Client Engager group. So follow me behind the scenes on that and see what kind of support we offer our clients, our users on Client Engager compared to our competitors. I'll see you all in a bit. Okay, so that's the end of Wednesday. It's 8:45 at night. I've just finished the live weekly Q&A session for Client Engager. Really good attendance, literally over an hour's worth of questions, which was always fantastic. So I always start the session with some kind of filibuster type thing, try and fill that time while the questions come in. Tonight I went through all the updates that came out last week, but I was busy. I was at Accountex, so I wasn't able to do a live session then. And then I went through all the updates that are coming out next week. So everyone knows what's coming up now, basically, and they can all watch that back and understand what's happening. And they can see what it all looks like because we had them live in the demo account ready. And then it's normally like 45 minutes worth of questions, and people that are new to Client Engager and are just trying to work things out themselves, people that have been there a while and they're trying to evolve things. So I always enjoy those sessions. They're always great value for me and the community. I've walked away with 5 or 6 bullet points of things that I want to go and look at and try and work out, can we do something better in the future? But yeah, it's overall a very, very good session. I really enjoy doing it. Yes, I do it at 7:30 on a Wednesday night. It is cutting into my time, but I really don't care. I really enjoy the session. I walk away with a bit of a buzz that the community are valuing it. The community are valuing the tool we're doing. They're valuing what we're building and how we're building it. So yeah, and ultimately, no one else does it. No one else does these types of sessions with their community for their software vendors. So it's a bit different. It's a bit nice and unique, and I really enjoy that. But yeah, I now need to upload all the content for this video for today onto the folders so that producer Lizzie can crack on and edit that bit ready for the next week's video. And I now need to go and watch the video that's due out on Friday night and make sure I'm happy with it. I'm sure I will be. Producer Lizzie always does a fantastic job, but I'll go and give it a once over just to make sure. So I will see you all tomorrow morning. Good morning. It's Thursday, and you know what? I've got a really nice day today. Like the diary, I'm just looking at it now. I've got a team meeting at 9:15, demo for Client Engager at 10, demo for Client Engager at 2, and then I'm going to go meet a client for coffee at 3:30. So really looking forward to today. Very light day on my calendar, and actually tomorrow's just as light as well. So yeah, nice way to end the week really. But the main reason I'm looking forward to it is because it means I've got time today to spend with some of the team members that are testing new technology. So I want to spend quite a bit of time today looking at line books with Stacey, George and Steph, who have been playing with that recently. So we can do the final testing of that before we roll it out to our team to work out who's going to be best using it for which clients. I also want some time to spend playing with ChatGPT this morning. So a while ago, ChatGPT announced a link to Bing and to have access to the website, to website information. But it then turned it off due to issues. It got re-released last night. So it got announced about 9 hours ago that it's now got access to the internet again. So I want to see, I love using ChatGPT, but I want to see kind of how that improves things or worsens things even. I'm not the biggest fan of Bing as a search engine. I think it's a bit crap compared to the likes of Google, but we'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. You know, go and ChatGPT myself and see what it comes up with. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. And I've got to continue testing and playing with Todd, the tax on demand Copilot AI tool. That again, really positive results so far from it. So looking forward to it. But yeah, so I will have my coffee and get some emails and stuff done before we jump into a team meeting. Okay, so it's lunchtime on Thursday. Really productive morning. First morning in ages that I've not had any meetings. My 10 o'clock Client Engager demo cancelled, but in plenty of time. So thank you to that person, because it meant I could just crack on with my day. We've had some really good feedback from the team and a really good demo of line books, and we'll be rolling that out across the company pretty much immediately. Really impressed with the efficiencies that's bringing us for these annual clients and tax return clients that you don't need to do a huge amount of work for. But any automation is a big win for those kind of clients because they're normally low value invoices to start with. And then on top of that, I've had a good catch up with Jade, my operations manager. We've gone through a few bits and pieces, highlighted some areas we need to work on to improve things. So she and I will crack on with that. And then, yeah, I've also done 3 self-assessment tax returns today, which is always a bonus. Actually managed to do 2 of them while walking 2.5 miles on the treadmill. So very productive and efficient way of using my time. This afternoon, I've got a client engager demo at 2, and I've got a meeting with a client after that to go and get him all set up and stuff. He's struggling with the forms on client engager. He's not very technologically astute, and he's also not really sure what we're asking him for. He's, like most business owners, when they're starting out, they're a bit confused by terminology like UTR numbers and stuff like that. So he's going to bring all his paperwork. I'm going to take what I need from it, and we'll go from there. But before all of that, I'm going to grab some lunch and catch up with a few of the team that I've not spoken to in a couple of days. Make sure they're all right, and we'll go from there. I will see you all in a bit. You know what, I have to say, it's been a tough week for demos for Client Engager this week with a lot of no-shows. But yesterday's demo sessions were great because they were training sessions with people that are already using the product, loving the product, and just wanting to use it better. But demo sessions like this afternoon's really just give me a restored faith. So today's session was fantastic. It was a accounting firm, a sole trader accounting firm, like one person firm, which is fantastic to see, doing phenomenal numbers. And it's all based on automation and that ability that they've got. But they've been struggling to find a replacement for Center, which they use currently. So we just went through everything. We're very open and honest with her about what will and won't work and what features we do and don't have. And I really enjoyed that session. I mean, it took 1 hour and 10 minutes, but it felt like it was only half an hour. So absolutely loved that session and kind of reminded me why we're doing what we're doing. Like, she was impressed. She was loving the way we're doing things from a culture point of view, a community point of view. So yeah, really good afternoon demo for this Thursday. So I am now going to go out back to my favourite coffee spot, Cafe Nero, around the corner. And I'm going to go and meet this new client that signed up the other day. He's struggling a bit because he doesn't really know what he's looking for information-wise to give us for the handover. But that's fine. We'll take all the paperwork off him and we'll just give him a helping hand with that. Right, well, that was a quick and short meeting. Got in, got done. The client doesn't do messing about, doesn't sit down for coffee or anything. He gives you your paperwork and walks away, basically. So, yeah, we got a response from HMRC in regards to a investigation that's been going on for years, quite frankly, for VAT non-registration that we inherited as part of an acquisition we did a couple of years back. But HMRC have finally come back now, having agreed the final VAT assessment value, having agreed finally that nothing was done maliciously. So they originally tried to fine last month this client over £40,000 in penalties and fines for being maliciously avoiding tax. We pointed out that case was hung on one note by a member of the HMRC team that's no longer employed by HMRC, and they had no audio recording to back up that note, so we had no context for the note that had been made, which could have been interpreted either way. So HMRC went back, they accepted there was no audio recording, they accepted they couldn't apply context, and then they found themselves a get out of jail card by saying, oh, actually, we've also got no record that we read out certain forms, which meant we can't use those notes as evidence anyway. So that was last month. This month they've finally written to us saying, yeah, we're closing the tax assessment. I mean, part of the problem here is that you respond to HMRC's email within a day or two of them sending it, but they don't then respond for another month. I know these investigators have got a heavy caseload, but there's a reason that that this system takes so long, and it adds so much stress and burden to the mental welfare of the clients, because HMRC aren't moving quick enough to deal with it. Like us responding to a client to a request, and then it taking them a month. I mean, this investigation got opened in 2020. COVID obviously delayed it, but there's no reason for it to have not been dealt with by now, basically. And it's all been delays from HMRC, and then quabbling over £3.50 receipts that they wanted proof of and stuff, which is beyond a joke anyway. But yeah, we've now got it in writing. They're closing the assessment. The client is ecstatic, as you would imagine, because all this stress has gone away now. They know what their final VAT position is, and they've already been paying large chunks towards it. And now that they've done all of that, we've also managed to waiver all the penalties and stuff. So yeah, very happy with that result in the end. It just took far longer than it ever needed to. So yeah, so I'm now going to spend a bit of time going through my plans for line books and which clients aren't going to be eligible for it, and start coming up with a plan of implementation for that. So I'll crack on with that for a bit, and then it'll be the end of the day, and I can call it quits at a sensible hour this evening, and we'll see what Friday has to hold. Not a huge amount in the diary for tomorrow, which is good. Hopefully I'm going to be able to tie up some loose ends, get some jobs done, get a few more self-assessments knocked out that we've got ready to go, and we'll crack on from there. So we'll see you tomorrow.
A few moments later.
Right, well, I thought I was done for the day. I thought I've signed off on the video, I'll upload all that stuff, and I'll be done. But then I got an email. I got an email at 1 minute to 4 this afternoon. Now, this won't be announced until probably tonight or tomorrow officially publicly, but by the time this video comes out, it'll be fine. So we got an email from the ICB, the Institute of Certified Bookkeepers. We knew we'd been listed for nominations for a client engager. So we knew we'd been put forwards for a few different awards, like Best Practice Management App, Friendliest App of the Year, and the Best Client Portal App, or Best Client App of the Year. And we knew the forms had been out. We knew the nomination period had finished by the 25th of September. But we've just had an email come through from the ICB confirming that we are not just nominated, but we are finalists. So Client Engager is a finalist for Best Practice Management of the Year, Best Client App of the Year, and Most Friendliest Software of the Year, which is just incredible. So any ICB members that are using Client Engager, following Client Engager, and have nominated us for these awards, just a huge thank you. We started Client Engager for the reason of trying to make sure we've got a best practice management app possible for our own firms, and if that benefits others, then even better. In doing that, we've created a community, and it's a community that supports each other, rallies around each other, encourages each other, and shares their experience and knowledge. And it's a fantastic community. I love being part of it. But on top of all those awards, I've also just found out that I've been nominated for Bookkeeping Personality of the Year award, which is just, I'm lost for words, if I'm honest. The fact that people out there felt the need to put my name in that box, because it wasn't just a list of names that you ticked or something. It was this blank box where you just put a name of someone in there. And the fact that one or more people have looked at that category and thought, we're going to put Johann's name in that, is just beyond belief. I'm extraordinarily grateful for that. So thank you. The awards are announced in November. Unfortunately, I'm on holiday in Cyprus when the awards night is on, so I won't be there in person. But we will be sending a contingent of Client Engager people there to be representative of at the awards evening. And I've already checked, being nominated for an award or several awards does not mean I can cancel or reschedule my holiday. The wife has made that very clear. But now I know. just in case I didn't know, I do now. So again, thank you to everyone that's nominated, myself or Client Engager, for the awards. It is very humbling to see your work and efforts rewarded in such a way and be recognised in such a way. Whether we win or not, we know we've put our best foot forward and that our community recognises that. So thank you for everything and your continued support. We will never take it for granted. So yeah, I'm going to go and cook some dinner and find out if I've got some kind of drink I can use to celebrate such great news. And I'll see you all again tomorrow. Good morning. It's Friday. I had an early start today. First of all, every Friday I get woken up by the chorus of the bin lorries coming around first thing in the morning. So I always get an early start on a Friday because once you're awake, you may as well crack on. But also I had a call today with an early morning call with an Australian company who have a team of people in the UK and they're looking for someone to provide the payroll. So I had a really good chat with them. They already had a provider, but once again, we're benefiting from providers that are refusing to share information and knowledge. So they weren't prepared to talk about options in regards to expense tracking and pension facilities without charging for the privilege of that meeting. So the client's been put off by that and looking around, and we got recommended. So I've had that call, very positive call. Nothing they were asking was overly technical or difficult whatsoever. So yeah, we were able to put their minds at rest, and I've just sent them a quote for that service. So great start to a Friday. I've then got a client demo for Client Engager at 10 o'clock. And then the next meeting's around 12 o'clock. I've got a meeting with Vicky, my head of accounts, and Marie, who is the transition manager that's helping what was Joe Wood's virtual FD team to transition into the OnPoint accounting team. So Marie was Joe's right-hand person. So ideally placed to help us move everyone in and get everyone's systems up and running and kind of in line so we can learn from them and they can learn from us. And it's been going very smoothly so far. But I have decided I think I'm going to take that that Teams call from a coffee shop somewhere and just sit and chill. I need a change of scenery. I've been in this office far too much this week. But yeah, so that's the plan for today. The grid walk for Accountex just went live and the feedback's been fantastic. Really enjoyed watching that. Lizzie's done a fantastic job on that again. So if you've not seen the grid walk for Accountex, have a look at that video next. So yeah, so a good start to the day, nice quote, great video out for Accountex and seeing what we see behind the scenes during the grid walk before the doors open to the public, which is always fun to do. We've already got some learnings from it, like we need to do better sound control and stuff, but it's every day's a learning day, especially when you're vlogging and stuff, so that's great. But yeah, I will crack on with this Client Engager demo and then we will go from there. So I was meant to be doing a client demo for Client Engager, but that person's not turned up. That's the third time they've booked in and not turned up, so I assume they're very, very busy people. Ironically, having Client Engager would actually help them have more time with the automations we have, but never mind. But I've made good use of my time. I'm sat here watching our grid walk. So we do a grid walk at Accountex every conference we go to. We try and get early access before anyone else gets in there. Only people that are there are like the suppliers and the vendors. And we go around, we look at what's coming up on all the different stages. We look at who's there and who's got what swag and have a chat with anyone that's willing to have a chat with us. Just so you get a feeling of this is what you could have been and done. So if you didn't go to Accountex this year, you know what to look forward to next year. And if you did go to Accountex, did you see everyone we saw? It's very easy to miss people at Accountex because it's such a busy environment. So yeah, what better way to spend half an hour of my time? So what we've just done is had a meeting between Vicky, our head of accounts for OnPoint Accounting, and Marie, the transition manager for the Joe Wood Virtual FD company that we acquired last month. And basically, we were just trying to refine how are we going to get the information we need for the accounts and tax returns that are coming up for the clients that are coming over to us from the Joe Woods business. Where our bottlenecks are going to be, which mainly are going to be about authentications and agent authorizations, but we can work around those. We had a quick discussion about actually now we've got clients on Xero and QuickBooks, is Xero Working Papers the right choice anymore? So I need to have a look at now and go and find some new softwares to see if we've got any better options out there, because we don't really want to have to go back to Excel, but we do want to standardize our process across everyone. So yeah, so that's that was that meeting. It's always a very chatty and laughy meetings that we have. It's very relaxed, informal meetings. But yeah, I will now go and do some digging around and see if I can find some information on working paper softwares. So watch this space, but that could be a third new software being implemented in the space of a week. Busy week for software implementation at OnPoint Accounting Group. Right, and we're done. That was an absolutely fantastic demo for Client Engager. Absolutely lovely sole practitioner who was a huge fanatic and huge ambassador for her previous platform, practice management software. But they've been gradually getting worse and worse service. The software's been getting slower and slower. And then she saw what we were doing at Client Engager and kind of switched straight away, which, you know, it's a big choice to move practice management software. So to switch and to be as passionate about it and as excited about it as she is tells me we're doing something right and we're communicating what we can do well, really well. So she's off setting up, which is a great way to end the week for me. It is only 10 to 3, so I am going to go and put my feet up, do some research into working papers, as I do. I'm going to go lay on the sofa with my iPad and do some research into softwares for working papers and see if there's a way we can standardize our system a bit more. Before there's a live stream from a YouTuber I watch called Mark Ellis. He's got a channel called Mark Ellis Reviews, and he's also got a channel of Solo Club. And Solo Club is all about him telling us how he works with sponsors, how he works with various providers, does vlogging and stuff like that, kind of behind the scenes stuff. So it's from him I've learned quite a lot of this, what I'm doing today and what kit I need and how to look at things and how to consider different options. So he does like a weekly live thing around 4 o'clock on a Friday. So I'm going to do an hour's worth of research into working papers, and then I'm going to sit and tune in and finish my Friday and my week by watching Mark Ellis on his Solo Club channel. So yeah, been a busy week, lots going on. Potentially 3 new softwares been played with. 2 definitely. 1 is completely onboarded. Linebooks is just incredible. So what took someone 40 minutes to do on a spreadsheet, translate and taking PDFs and just putting it onto a spreadsheet and categorizing them, took about 5.5 minutes on Linebooks. It's absolutely brilliant bit of kit. So we're going to be rolling that out. Todd is still being used and tested. Great bit of kit for a bit of reassurance and research purposes into taxes and stuff. So yeah, and if we can find a working paper solution that is allowing us to standardize what we're doing, that'd be amazing. We love the working papers in QuickBooks, but to then have a license for every single client, even though they're not using that license because they're on Xero or something, gets very expensive. So we need to have a look at how we standardize that. Our plan was always just to use QuickBooks working papers, but now we've got all these Xero users from our acquisition last month. It's a bit of a different challenge. So yeah, no, fantastic week. Really enjoyed it. Very productive. I hope you've enjoyed following me, and if there's any bits you want to see more of or ask more questions about, stick it in the comments and we'll get back to you, and I'll try and focus those videos on bits like that. So yeah, thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend, because I know you'll be watching this at 6 p.m. next Friday night onwards. So if you are, have a great weekend, and I will see you the following week. Hello, my name's Johann. QuickBooks Advanced is a lot more powerful than QuickBooks Online. Okay, so I've decided to pack in work. It's about 5:15.
But it's a good business, the owner just doesn't care.
I'm not sure how much good content Liz is getting out of this.
We are live. I've got Johann Goree in the house.
And welcome to another episode of Ask the Accountant We Have Called Friends.
I do a podcast every week.
Aaron and I actually met and came up with the idea of this podcast